In this video I'm going to do a cost analysis for an electric car and a petrol car, and we are going to find out how much money you can save or pay extra if you buy an electrical vehicle as compared to a petrol car. Now this video is going to be all about numbers and maths, and we are going to find out that is purchasing an electrical vehicle over a normal petrol car profitable, and if yes, then by how much. So let's begin. But before jumping to an analysis, you must know that currently there are 7 fully electrical vehicles available in India market. These are Hyundai Kona Electric, Mahindra E-Verito, Mahindra E2O, MG ZS EV, TATA Nexon EV, and Mercedes-Benz EQZ. There is a Tata Tigor EV also, but that's only available for commercial purpose. Okay, so here for my analysis, I'm gonna choose 2 cars, Tata Nexon EV and Tata Nexon petrol variant. Why? Because it's the most budget-friendly car made in India, and it has also Tata Nexon petrol variant, so the comparison will be easy to understand. So first of all, let's see what are the initial ex-showroom price of both the cars. The Tata Nexon EV price ranges from 13.99 lakhs to 16.25 lakhs, whereas the Tata Nexon petrol price ranges from 6.99 lakhs to 10.75 lakhs. So it's pretty much clear that the initial cost of Nexon EV is higher than the petrol variant. Now let's dig a bit deeper and let's see how much it's going to cost you to drive an electrical vehicle and a petrol car in a year. First of all, let's get familiarized with the Nexon EV specifications. The Nexon EV has a lithium-ion battery pack which has an energy density, or I can say capacity, of 30.2 kWh, and the Tata company claims the range to be 312 km for a full charge of battery. It has a permanent magnet synchronous motor PMSM which gives a power output of 129 PS or 127.235 horsepower. The motor provides a torque of 245 Nm. So let's see now how much it's gonna cost you to fully charge your electrical vehicle battery at home. Okay, so now remember, the cost per unit electricity in Indian homes depends upon how much units you consume in a month. But on an average, it's about Rs 6 per unit. And now this unit is actually a simplified way of saying kilowatt hour. Basically, 1 unit is equals to 1 kilowatt hour. So the average cost of electricity can be written as Rs 6 per kilowatt hour. And the Nexon EV battery capacity is 30.2 kilowatt hour. So the cost for a full charge is equals to battery capacity multiplied by cost per kilowatt hour of electricity divided by charging efficiency. Charging efficiency is not always 100% because the power gets dissipated in going from the socket to the EV battery. It's on an average about 84% or 0.84. So the cost for a full charge is equals to 30.2 multiplied by Rs 6 per kilowatt hour divided by 0.84, which is the charging efficiency. So the cost for a full charge comes to be Rs 215.71. So it means that you have to spend Rs 215.71 for a full charge of battery of Nexon EV if you charge it at your home. Now let's move ahead and calculate the Nexon EV cost per kilometer. So the cost for full charge, as we have known, is Rs 215.71, and the real world range provided by one full battery of Nexon EV is equals to 200 km. I know that the company claims it to be 312 km, but if you check on a real world on-road range, it comes to be around at a max of 200 km. So the cost per kilometer is equals to cost for a full charge divided by real world range, which is equals to 215.71 divided by 200, which comes to be Rs 1.07. So this is the cost per kilometer of your Tata Nexon EV, which is equals to Rs 1.07. And on an average, Indian people drive for about 1000 kilometers per month, so about 34 kilometers per day. So if we calculate per day cost of driving Nexon EV, which is equals to cost per kilometer times kilometers driven per day, which comes to be 1.07 times 34. So the per day cost of driving Nexon EV will be Rs 36.38, and for 1 year it will be 13,278. And Tata provides a battery warranty for Nexon EV for 8 years, so you don't have to involve the charges for battery replacement or battery repairment for about 8 years. So if we calculate the driving cost of Nexon EV for 8 years, it comes to be Rs 13,278 multiplied by 8, which is equals to 1,06,224. Now let's do the calculations for Tata Nexon Petrol. The Nexon Petrol gives a combined mileage of about 15 km per liter, which means 1 liter of petrol gives 15 km. So the cost of petrol in Delhi at present is Rs 81 per liter. So for 15 km, you have to pay Rs 81. So the cost per kilometer would be 81 divided by 15, which is Rs 5.4. Now again, the average driving per day is about 34 kilometers. So the per day cost of driving Nexon Petrol will be cost per kilometer multiplied by kilometer driven per day, which is equals to 5.4 multiplied by 34, that is rupees 183.6. So the cost of driving per year is equals to 183.6 multiplied by 365, which comes to be rupees 67,000. And for 8 years, the driving cost of Nexon Petrol is equals to 5,36,000 rupees. Now let's not forget about the maintenance costs. Tata estimates that the maintenance cost of EV would be almost half of its petrol variant because of lesser number of moving parts. So the cost of maintenance of Nexon Petrol is approximately 40,000 rupees for 8 years, which includes change of engine oil, oil filter, coolant, timing belt, fuel filter, spark plug, etc. So the cost of maintenance of Nexon EV would be almost half of it, which is approximately rupees 20,000, which includes checking of tires, brakes, wiper blades, washer fluids, general wear and tear, etc. So if we compare the cost of both the cars side by side, the cost per kilometer for Nexon EV is rupees 1.07, whereas for Nexon Petrol is about 5.4 rupees, almost 5 times, and the per day driving cost of Nexon EV is rupees 36.38, whereas for Nexon Petrol is about rupees 183.6. And if we calculate the driving cost for 1 year, so per year driving cost of Nexon EV is 13,278, but for Nexon Petrol is about 67,000. And for 8 years, the driving cost of Nexon EV is around 1,06,224, but for Nexon Petrol is about 5,36,000. And 8 years maintenance cost for Nexon EV is about 20,000, whereas for Nexon Petrol is about 40,000 rupees. So if we calculate the 8 years total cost, which is nothing but sum of 8 years driving cost plus 8 years maintenance cost, it comes to be around 1,26,224 rupees for Nexon EV and rupees 5,76,000 for Nexon Petrol. So if you drive a Nexon EV instead of driving a Nexon Petrol for 8 years, you can actually save up for about rupees 5,76,000 minus 1,26,224, which is equals to 4,49,776 rupees. So almost 4.5 lakhs you can save in 8 years. So per year your savings will be around rupees 56,222. Now most of the people think that cost of traveling in an EV is cheaper because the cost of electricity is much less than the cost of fuel. But that's not the actual scenario. The reason why cost of traveling in an EV is cheap because they are so damn efficient. If you see the energy content in petrol, it's 9.1 kilowatt hour per liter. Now if you see our Nexon Petrol, which has a capacity of 44 liter, the energy equivalent of it comes to be 44 liter times 9.1 kilowatt hour per liter, that is 400 kilowatt hour. And as we know that the combined mileage of Nexon Petrol is about 15 km per liter and the fuel tank capacity is 44 liter, so the range of Nexon Petrol in one full tank is equals to 15 km per liter times 44 liter, that is 660 km. And as we have seen, the energy equivalent in Nexon Petrol was 400 kilowatt hour. So 400 kilowatt hour gives a range of 660 kilometers. Therefore, per kilowatt hour of energy gives range of 660 by 400, that is 1.65 km for Nexon Petrol. Now if we do the maths for Nexon EV, the Nexon EV battery capacity is about 30.2 kilowatt hour and the real world range is about 200 km. So per kilowatt hour, the range provided is 200 by 30.2, that is 6.62 kilometers for Nexon EV, while it was just 1.65 kilometers for Nexon Petrol, which means that the Nexon EV is so much efficient than Nexon Petrol. Now what factor is making petrol cars so less efficient than electrical vehicles? It's actually the mileage. Suppose, imagine, the mileage of Nexon Petrol was 60 km per liter. So the range would be 44 liter, that is the fuel tank capacity, times 60 km per liter, which is equals to 2640 km. So the energy equivalent of Nexon Petrol, as we have seen, is 400 kilowatt hour. So 400 kilowatt hour of energy will give a range of 2640 km. So per kilowatt hour of energy will give a range of 2640 by 400 equals to 6.6 km, which is the same as Nexon EV. So both the Nexon EV and Nexon Petrol can be same efficient if the mileage of Nexon Petrol was 60 km per liter, which is not the real world case. And therefore it is less efficient. If you want to compare, petrol cars have efficiency of around 20% to 35%, whereas electric cars have an efficiency of 60% to 77%. Now up to this point, electrical vehicle looks like a great deal, but we are actually forgetting about one thing. The initial cost of EV was much higher than that of the petrol car. If we compare the top model for Nexon EV, the on-road price of top model of Nexon EV is around 17 lakhs, whereas the on-road price of TATA Nexon Petrol top model is around 12 lakhs. So the Nexon Petrol is almost rupees 5 lakhs cheaper than Nexon EV, which is a huge price difference. But as we have calculated, we are saving for about rupees 56,222 per year if we drive an electrical vehicle or Tata Nexon EV as compared to Tata Nexon Petrol. Still, it would take 5 lakh divided by 56,222, which is equals to 8.89 years for the Nexon EV to remove the on-road price difference between the two cars. Once again, 5 lakh is what? 5 lakh is what we have to pay extra to purchase an electrical vehicle, and 56,222 is what you are saving per year. So if we divide these two numbers, it will be around 8.89 years. So the 8.89 years is nothing but it would take 8.89 years for Nexon EV to remove the on-road price difference between the two cars. Which means for 8.89 years, your Nexon EV will not give you any benefit in terms of money as compared to the petrol Nexon, because you have initially paid rupees 5 lakh extra just to buy an electrical vehicle. But after these 8.89 years, you will begin to save rupees 56,222 per year as compared to Nexon Petrol. But remember one thing, that these calculations are based on current situation, and in the coming years the number might be less than 8.89 years, because as we know that the cost of fuel is always increasing. So the driving cost of Nexon Petrol will keep on increasing, which will lessen the gap between both the cars. So that's all for this video guys. Now I know that cost alone is not a deciding factor when you're going to purchase a car. If all people were interested in cheaper cars, then there will not be brands like Porsche, Mercedes, Audi or Ferrari. What people really want is that if they are paying more money for a product, then the product should have enough value to satisfy the customer. If you are spending more money in an electrical vehicle, it should be more convenient to drive, it should be more fun to drive. Overall, it should provide more value than a normal petrol car. Therefore, I have made another video on comparing the convenience provided by both electrical vehicle and gasoline cars, in which I have explained about the charging time calculations of an electrical vehicle and also the difference between the driving comfort and driving experience. So please check it out. And thank you guys for watching this video, and if you have learned something, please like the video and subscribe to my channel.